The necklace. Guy de Maupassant.
Mathilde Loisel is a pretty and charming woman who feels that she was born into a family of unfavorable economic status. She is married to a lowly clerk in the Ministry of Education who can afford to provide her with only a modest, though not uncomfortable, lifestyle. Mathilde deeply resents her modest circumstances and constantly dreams of a more extravagant life. While her husband takes pleasure in the simple supper she prepares, she longs for lavish feasts served on fine china in the company of wealthy friends. She possesses no expensive jewelry or elegant dresses, yet these are the only things she desires. She believes that without them, she is not attractive or desirable. She has one wealthy friend, Madame Forrestal, but avoids visiting her because it only reminds her of what she lacks. One evening, her husband comes home excitedly bearing an invitation to a prestigious ball hosted by the Ministry of Education. Expecting her to be thrilled, he is taken aback when she reacts with anger and distress. She bursts into tears, lamenting that she has nothing suitable to wear and insists that he give the invitation to someone whose wife is better dressed. Wanting to make her happy, he asks how much a suitable dress would cost. After careful thought, she estimates 400 francs. Though reluctant, he agrees to give her the money. As the day of the ball approaches, Mathilde becomes anxious again, this time about her lack of jewelry. Her husband suggests wearing fresh flowers, but she dismisses the idea. He then encourages her to borrow jewelry from Madame Forrestal. Mathilde follows his advice, and Madame Forrestal generously lends her a dazzling diamond necklace. Overcome with gratitude, Mathilde is thrilled. At the ball, Mathilde is the center of attention. Her beauty, elegance, and charm captivate everyone. She dances joyfully, basking in the admiration of the guests. At 4 a.m., she finally seeks out her husband, who has been waiting for her in a deserted room. He drapes a modest wrap over her shoulders, warning her about the cold, but she is embarrassed by its shabbiness and rushes outside. They walk for some distance before finding a cab. Upon reaching home, Mathilde is heartbroken that the magical evening has ended. As she removes her wrap, she is horrified to discover that the necklace is missing. Panicked, her husband retraces their steps in search of it, but to no avail. Devastated, he instructs her to write to Madame Forrestal, claiming that the clasp of the necklace has broken and that it is being repaired. For a week, the Loisels search desperately, but the necklace is nowhere to be found. Eventually, they decide to replace it. After visiting several jewelers, they find a similar diamond necklace priced at 40,000 francs, though they manage to purchase it for 36,000 francs. To afford this, Monsieur Loisel spends his entire inheritance of 18,000 francs and borrows the rest from moneylenders, plunging them into crippling debt. When Mathilde returns the necklace, Madame Forrestal expresses mild annoyance at the delay but does not inspect it. Mathilde is relieved. From that point on, the Loisels endure 10 years of extreme hardship. They dismiss their servant and move into a smaller, cheaper apartment. Monsieur Loisel takes on multiple jobs, while Mathilde does all the household chores herself, cooking, cleaning, fetching water, and bargaining with shopkeepers. The years of relentless toil strip Mathilde of her beauty, leaving her looking aged and worn. One Sunday, while out for a walk, Mathilde encounters Madame Forrestal. Overcome with emotion, she greets her old friend, who fails to recognize her. Shocked by Mathilde's transformation, Madame Forrestal exclaims how different she looks. Mathilde, now hardened by years of struggle, reveals the truth about losing the necklace, replacing it, and spending a decade repaying the debt. Stunned, Madame Forrestal clasps her hands and delivers a devastating revelation. The original necklace was merely costume jewelry, worth nothing.
Question and answers.
What would Mathilde often dream of?
Mathilde would often dream of delicacies, luxuries, elegant dinners, marvelous dishes, silverware, beautiful dresses, exquisite jewelry, admiration, and a life of grandeur. She would escape into these fantasies to momentarily forget the dullness of her humble existence.
Why did Mathilde throw the invitation spitefully?
Mathilde was displeased when her husband presented the invitation. Instead of feeling excited, She felt humiliated because she had nothing elegant to wear to such a grand event. Out of frustration, she threw the invitation spitefully.
Describe Mathilde's success at the ball. Oh, do you think Monsieur Loisel had an enjoyable evening at the ball? Give reasons for your answer.
Mathilde was the center of attention at the ball. Her beauty, grace, joy, and radiant smile captivated everyone. Men admired her and sought introductions, and she reveled in their admiration, feeling triumphant. Meanwhile, Monsieur Loisel spent the evening waiting in a deserted room and did not share her enjoyment.
What excuse did the Loisels use to explain the delay in returning the necklace?
Since they had lost the necklace and needed time to replace it, the Loisels wrote to Madame Forestier, claiming that the clasp was broken and they needed time to have it repaired.
How did the Loisels manage to pay for the necklace?
The necklace cost 36,000 francs. To pay for it, Monsieur Loisel used his entire inheritance of 18,000 francs and borrowed the remaining amount from moneylenders, putting themselves in immense financial debt.
How did Mathilde come to know the life of necessity?
To repay their enormous debt, the Loisels gave up their comfortable lifestyle. They moved to a poorer neighborhood, dismissed their servant, and Mathilde took on all household chores, including cooking, cleaning, washing, fetching water, and haggling with shopkeepers. Her husband worked tirelessly, taking on multiple jobs to save every sou.
Describe Mathilde after 10 years.
10 years of poverty and relentless hardship drained Mathilde's youth and beauty. She became a hardened, weary woman, poorly dressed, with untidy hair and red, roughened hands from years of labor.
What kind of husband was Monsieur Loisel? Cite instances from the text to support your answer.
Monsieur Loisel was a caring and selfless husband. He sacrificed his own desires and even his inheritance for Mathilde's happiness. He worked tirelessly for 10 years to repay the debt, proving his unwavering support and devotion to her.
Why was Mathilde's friend astonished to see her at the end of the story? Oh, why did Jean not recognize Mathilde?
Jean, Mathilde's friend, did not recognize her because Mathilde had drastically changed. Once beautiful and elegant, she now appeared old, worn out, and poverty-stricken, a stark contrast to her former self.
Comment on the use of irony in the story. Oh, how had Mathilde's sacrifice been in vain?
The story's irony lies in the revelation that the Loisels spent 10 years of hardship repaying a debt for a necklace that was actually worthless. This twist highlights the futility of their suffering and the cruel irony of their fate.